Hello, it's Maktuf. How are you doing? These are 8 dribbling tips that will help you perfect your ball handling to pro level. This video is for everyone. I'm sure you will learn something regardless of your level. So let's start. Okay, here I have a training pack we will be using alongside these tips so that you can test yourself or try all these drills. But here we go. Tip number 1. You never brake during a dribble. You only stop driving. Boost gives you speed to catch up to the ball. Driving maintains that speed. The ideal dribble is one where you boost just enough to maintain the ball on top as you drive on. However, that doesn't always happen. If you didn't boost enough, boost a little more. If you boosted a little too much, then you have to let go of the drive button for a quick second, but you never brake. And so you start going back and forth between letting go of the drive button and boosting a little to maintain the dribble. And with a little bit of practice, you'll naturally start gaining speed quickly and getting the perfect dribble without braking at all. Never. Okay, tip number 2. Always start a dribble from the side when the ball is rolling. Of course, when it's bouncing, you essentially have to match the speed of the ball and go underneath. But when it's rolling, you always start from the side. You cut the ball a little bit to get it on top of your car. Always from the side, never from the front. That's a shot. And this goes a little bit into the next tip. Tip number 3. You should always dribble in a curved path like this. When approaching a dribble like this, you can cut, you can fake a cut and roll the ball, you can bounce dribble, you can start the dribble a lot quicker because you're on the side of the ball rather than behind it, you can flick, etc. You can do all sorts of things. You will rarely see a straight dribble that works because it lacks outplaying options, except of course if you can air dribble bump that, then it's okay, you can go straight. Tip number 4. Let's talk about flicks and gluing the ball to your car. There's a very simple trick a friend of mine taught me a long time ago. Essentially, when dribbling, if the ball rolls into you and you jump, you will keep the ball glued to your car. If you let the ball roll away from you and jump, the ball will pop up away from you. Okay, cool. So what do I do with this information? Basically, every single time you go for a flick, literally just boost and flick. If you don't have boost, just speed up by driving only. If you can't, then you're poop and you basically just wasted your chance. But yeah, when you're speeding up into the ball and letting it roll into you, then you can flick. And it doesn't matter if you use boost or drive to do so. But you will usually use boost. It's just easier. Tip number 5. If you let the ball roll down smoothly on the front of your car and you just boost while it's rolling off the front, then the ball will glue to your car and roll smoothly at your speed in the ground. This tip is essential to regulate the speed of a shot for full consistency when you're going up the wall, when you're doing all sorts of tricks. This will help you get a consistent setup into the wall and full control of the ball. It literally doesn't matter the height of the roll-off on the front of your car. It can be as tiny as you want, so long you boost during the roll-off. You can maintain control of the ball. You want to avoid at all times these types of dribbles. At all times. Okay, 6th tip. Learn to drive backwards. It will teach your brain about reversed inputs, which you will use in a lot of other mechanics later on. If you can also start flicking the ball while going backwards and doing diagonal flips backwards, you can add a little cancel and straighten up yourself. You're learning as well diagonal half flips, a little plus. So learn to drive backwards. Tip number 7. Learn to pop the ball and do a 360 while you do it. Now this sounds very difficult, but essentially what you're doing here is you're basically gaining the hang of spinning and boosting throughout a full 360-degree spin. This will also teach you to basically stop your car in place. When you do a 360, it will keep on going because the car kind of builds up a little bit of momentum into that direction. So you have to learn how to move your stick in the opposite direction to stop that momentum, and then you can land straight. That's super important part of your car control because that's something that transfers into many other skills. Another thing that it will teach you is to get perfectly straight side inputs and avoid this messy unwanted diagonal inputs. Your car should be straight completely. This will also translate into other skills, advanced skills, and it will help you along your journey, trust me. Tip number 8. Learn to jump off the walls and off the goal ceiling and land perfectly to control the ball. So here I'll help you out with the inputs. There are specific inputs for these kinds of jumps. You don't have to overcomplicate stuff. You don't have to do rings maps. You don't have to do anything. It's just one input and that's all. That's all you need to do all this. So what are you gonna do? First I'm gonna show you how to do it with Airroll right, and then I'm gonna show you how to do it with Airroll left. Okay, the 10th shot. So basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna start just doing a tornado spin. So for Airroll right, a tornado spin is moving your stick to the left, okay? So as you move your stick to the left and Airroll, as you jump off the wall, you're gonna be doing a movement somewhat like this. Now if you continue moving your stick and you continue Airrolling, you're of course gonna continue Airrolling and continue moving and tilting, so you don't really want to do that. You want to stop at some point. And notice, if I just stop at some point, my car is going to continue moving a little bit, right? So I don't want that. I want to continue moving straight. And this is as simple as it gets, by the way. You don't have to overcomplicate. I want to be very clear with that. It's only 1 and 2 movements, really. 2 movements because you're going to counter adjust. You're going to move your stick in the opposite direction from the left just to stop your car from moving any further. Your car builds up momentum to the left, and so you just want to stop that momentum from happening a little more. That's it. You just stop your car from moving any further and you stick the landing. That's it. Those are the only 2 movements that you're going to be using. And in a competitive scenario, you're going to find yourself a lot of times where you're going to be driving down in reverse and you want to get really quickly into the ground and wave dash into the ball. This is all you're gonna do. 2 inputs. Move your stick to the left and Airroll right, and then just counter adjust with your stick to the right. You can look at my stick throughout this entire drill, and all I do is move my stick to the left and move my stick to the right. Any other input is not necessarily wrong, it's just over complicated. You just want to do these 2 movements. That's it. Now, this is for a straight shot, right? So this what you're gonna try and do, make sure that you can get it really straightened up, and then when you go into the right, you're gonna counter just a little quicker and you're gonna Airroll a little bit less. That's it. But you can see on my stick, yeah, that I'm just moving my stick left and right and then wave dashing. Of course, that's the up movement that you're gonna be seeing. That's it. That's all I'm doing here. Left and right. And then what happens when it's to the left? Well, of course, you're gonna wait a little longer because it's a bit more rotation. So in this case, you usually just go for Airroll left. That's usually what I do. But if you're only using 1 Airroll, then of course, move your stick to the left for a little longer and then just wave dash at the very end. In this one, you don't even have to do a counter adjustment sometimes because the movement is so large. But that's it. That's all you have to do. And now let's go into the ceiling. What do you do here? So now, the difference between this and the other one is that if I want to do a wave dash here, I have to do the opposite movement. So now I move my stick to the right first. That's it. If I move my stick to the right first, then it's going to do this movement. Of course, if I want to go up, if I want to start boosting up, this is perfect, right? But here I want to jump into the ground and do a wave dash. Those are the only 2 movements I want to be doing. It's stick to the right, a little counter adjustment to the left at the very end so that my car doesn't move too far to the right like that. You want to avoid that at all costs. And that's it. And that's all you have to do. And if the ball is a little bit to the right, then you're gonna wait a little bit longer. And there it is. and you just kind of start getting the hang of this. And then if the ball is a little bit to the left, you do a counter adjustment a little earlier. That's it. Only 2 movements. You don't have to complicate stuff so much. You don't have to learn Airroll. So just keep that in mind. Now let's go into Airroll left. Okay, so Airroll left. I'm gonna basically say the same things. If you're Airroll left, you're gonna be basically moving your stick to the right and do a tornado spin here. That's all you have to do. And you're gonna notice that it's gonna continue. The momentum is gonna build up. So if you stop moving your stick at some point, it's gonna be still moving. Your car is gonna continue moving. So you have to stop that momentum. How do you stop that momentum? You just move your stick in the opposite direction. You move it to the left. That's it. And then you start getting the hang of going straight with only 2 inputs. You only need 2 inputs. So you're going to be moving your stick to the right, Airroll just enough, move your stick just enough. If you just continue moving your stick and you continue Airrolling, it's not going to work. If you do any other adjustments, it's also not going to work. If you move your stick down to the right, if you move your stick up into the, well, if you move it up into the right, it can work actually. That's actually pretty useful for going straight into this right shot. But I don't want to overcomplicate stuff. You only need these 2 inputs really. You're doing a tornado spin and that's it. So don't try and do any other inputs. And that's it. You just have to train moving your stick to the right and to the left. And then timing how much you're going to be airrolling. If you do it a little too close to the ground, of course, you're going to struggle a bit more. If you do it on the wall curve, of course, you're going to end up like this because you're tilted. It's still going to work, but it's not the best. And if you do it too far up, well, you're going to wait too long, and then the movement that will give you the wave dash possibility, then it's not going to be worth it. So you have to time it. You have to make sure that you're able to do that. Okay, and then when you move into the right, then you're going to wait a little longer. You're just going to move your stick to the left a little longer, and that's it. And then when the ball is to the left, then you're going to counter adjust a little earlier. That's all. And then you're going to start practicing both of those positions. That's it. And then when you go off the ceiling, what are you going to do? If you do a tornado spin, you can go down. That will work. However, I do recommend that in this types of positions, you do a wave dash. So what will be the movement to give you a wave dash? Now you're going to do an inverted tornado spin. Now you're going to move your stick to the left. And so if you move your stick to the left, you're just going to start going up. And then of course, if you continue moving your arrow, if you continue moving your stick, you're not going to land it. You're not going to land it. Also, if you don't jump off the ceiling, you're going to overshoot. So you don't want that either. So you want to jump off the ceiling, move your stick to the left. And then notice here, if I don't do a counter adjustment, I'll just move to the left a little too much. Or I'll just overshoot. It will be a little too difficult to control the car. So to control the car, same again. You move your stick to the right at some point. And you counter adjust, and then you'll start getting the hang of it. And then again, if the ball is to the right, then you're gonna counter adjust a little earlier, and you'll start getting it. There we go. You have to get that fully consistently. And then you go into the left side, and now you're gonna move a little longer. You're gonna wait to do the counter adjustment. Sometimes you won't even have to do a counter adjustment, and you have to airroll just enough. If you also just continue airrolling, of course, you're gonna end up sideways. Don't be a booby poopy, okay? So yeah, that's it. Only those 2 movements: inverted tornado spins, and all you have to do is counter adjust to control in which direction you are going afterwards. That's it. And these are all the tips. Everybody loves a good tip. So let me know in the comments if any of these tips helped your ball handling. Sorry, I had to. So yeah, have a good day. Take care. Bye-bye. Good luck.
It's something that they never seen.